So this is the very late review of the Skoda Kodiaq RS. This is powered by a 2-litre bi-turbo up the front, coupled to a full-time 4-wheel drive in the middle, but it's in a 7-seat configuration. This car in Ireland, you'll have to sit down now for a second, costs €63,000. This one, RS. So is it any use? And that's what we're here to find out. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, because there's loads more of these videos to come. Come on, have a look inside. So on the inside, this is a Skoda Kodiaq. Pretty much, you get some red stitching around here. You get different Alcantara seats with the RS written in them and lots of red stitching there. And you get VRS or RS written on the gear shifter on the bottom of your steering wheel. Other than that, pretty much everything is visually very similar. We have a touchscreen up here at the top, which I'm going to start the car up now. This is going to sound weird, but here we go. So I can hear both the actuator thing and the thing outside doing its job. We'll come to that in a second. So I have a touchscreen up here at the top. It lacks a knob. It lacks a knob, Skoda. I need a volume knob, but it's not really important because I have a volume knob here, but the passenger... Anyway, it is still one of the best systems you can buy on the market at the moment. The touchscreen works incredibly well. It is very, very responsive, very quick to flick in and out of things. No matter what you're doing, just you can't change the volume very fast. You have Smart Link, you got traffic and navigation in this one as well, of course. Now that's in the spec up here. Beside that, I have two glove boxes, one at the top, one at the bottom, which is convenient. The one at the top has a slight sort of carbon fibre finish to it. Beneath that, I have manual controls for everything else. This is very good. Heated seats both sides here. I have temperature gauge on both sides here. The menu button in the middle, rest and sync. And of course then you have all of the things you can turn on and off here, like the hazard warning lights and so on. Steering wheel is flat bottomed. Well, would I say semi-flat bottomed maybe? Anyway, I have a sort of a sporty display in here that I can change with the view button or something like that. Is it view to change that? Anyway, whatever, this can be changed here to be really sporty and change your different kind of settings. A little bit gimmicky now, in fairness to it. It's not something you're probably going to settle into that one and leave it at that and never change it again. It's nice, but as I said, it's not really functional. It doesn't really do a whole lot other than give you the normal information you've got. 7-speed DSG or 7-speed automatic gearbox in this. There's some modes and things. There's an off-road mode on this. Don't go off-road in this car. It'll do it. It's very uncomfortable though. It's not designed for the humps and bumps, but it will go across off-road. I'll show you that in a minute. The modes. When I click the mode, I have Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sport, Individual and Snow. Normal is its default setting, and normal, it makes this big engine sound from out front, which you can't really hear until you're driving. Then it makes this sort of sound actuated weird burble. We'll come to that in the middle. Storage, tons of it here as usual with Skoda. Decent armrest in the middle of it as well. Single USB port up the front. Can't find another one there, Skoda. You need to add another 2 or 3 USB ports to the cars these days. Controls fall to hand very easy. I have active cruise control in this one. I can open the tailgate from down here. Heated mirrors that fold in when you lock the doors, and 4 electric windows that you can turn off, the kids ones in the back. Also above me, where that sun is beaming in on my face, is actually a sunroof. So I have a glass roof here that I can close, and I also have a cloth one that's gigantic and is still coming. It's getting here. It's on the way. Any minute now. There you go. So it blocks out all the sun. You see how dark it gets in here when you do that. That's nice. That's not a bad thing. It's good that it tints the windows. Also tinted windows around the rear of it. That's pretty much the whole front of the car. It's very nice that way. So we're going to now is move to the next row of seats. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, right? I tell you to subscribe. It's good for your health, like, when you subscribe. You know, you always get, I run giveaways and all sorts of things for subscribers, but it's so hard to get subscribers. Anyway, the back seat has this convenient little handle in the back. It's unintentional, I'm afraid. Big back doors. These are the biggest back doors I've seen in any of these vehicles. It's a large door. It opens very wide and can be a little bit hard to handle for the smaller kiddies. Find it hard to do that, but you will fit 3 adults in the back seat here for sure. You've got a center armrest if you don't want to be fancy just throwing out the middle person. There's also 2 Isofix on either side. full seat belt in the centre here, and these seats drop really easy to do that in a second. I have temperature control here in the back. It is single zone here in the back, so one temperature change, and a 12-volt socket should be a USB port, or should supply some way of converting it. Electric window on this side, a couple of speakers on the door here as well, and I have this Alcantara effect in the back as I do in the front. This is the middle row of seats. There is another row of seats behind that, so I'm going to get into that in a second. But these seats all fold down as well. It's done in an odd way. You pull it from over that side and drop them all the way flat that way. If you want, that is the 60 side. This is the 40 side. Quite heavy, actually, in fairness. But if I want to get into the back seat, you open the back door, you pull the handle at the top. Sure. No, that's not how you do it. No, wait, that gets out of the way. No. Come on, that has to get out. Surely. Tie more at the top of all of that. That wouldn't make sense. Surely this is simply clever here somewhere, Skoda. Sure, I've seen Sinead McCann do this a different way. Oh, wait, no. That's just really stiff. That's what's wrong there. That does slide that way. Anyway, yes, I can get into the back seat. Oh, bloody hell. I wouldn't fit in it. I don't fit. I don't fit, Skoda. No. No, I don't fit. I don't fit. Sorry. No, I can't get out. Can't get out. Okay. I don't fit. That's the best can be said for that. Man, it's like rock climbing trying to get back of that thing. Right. The back of that is strictly for kids. Bloody hell. That was hard work. To the boot. The boot, however, is not a Palava. It's electric. Whoa. Slow, but it goes up on its own, which is good. It goes back down on its own too. So this is the boot when all 7 seats are up. You can see there's plenty of room here. It's on my camera kit. I still have room for more stuff in here. There is a little loading area underneath here as well if you really want to put more things in and not disturb the 7 seats. If you want to drop the 7 seats, just push down to down, pull that, and down she goes, flat as a pancake. If I drop that one as well, you'll see that you actually get quite a big boot. This car is available in 5 seats. I don't advise getting it. I'd say pay the extra grand, which is about £1,000, for the 2 extra seats, because you get so much extra room and so many other options to go with your car. You can use for all sorts of things. Shopping mag hook, another 2 over there. 2 12-volt socket on that side. I can drop the middle row of seats from a switch here. Doesn't drop them fully in one shot. They're very stiff, Skoda. Maybe that's just something in manufacturing. And a removable torch, which you first seen in Peugeot. That's rechargeable as well. Good thinking. There is space here for a tonneau cover at the top. Quite where that is right now, I don't know. It could be under here, is it? Yeah, it's under there. It's got a tonneau cover carrier. Excellent work there, Skoda. 10 out of 10 for the boot space, really. Alright, so to drive, this is where the RS should come into its own, right? I mean, that's where we have the best of everything in RS mode, right? So what have we got in RS mode? We have a 2-litre bi-turbo unit at the front, which, well, it's good in a strong engine. It just makes funny noises, I think. Right, so D, we're in normal mode now. You hear the way the speakers have kicked up there. I'll just let that settle in your brain for a minute. I can hear now, right now, 2 engines, right? So I can hear the actual diesel engine do its tickety thing, and I can hear the RS thing doing its thing as well. So the 2 of them working together, they're easy to catch out, right? And as I say, off-road, this car will do it. It is a 4x4. It will drag itself right through all of the muck and dirt you want to throw at it, but it just isn't a coat. It doesn't have the suspension travel, and the seats are firmed up for road use, really. Skoda as a brand is kind of disturbing my brain at the moment because they've cancelled out a lot of what made them great. The Roomster, there's all kinds of little things along the way. Even the Fabia is flagging a little bit. You know, as the concentration moves on to this car, onto the Kodiaq, onto the forthcoming Scala, which we haven't seen. There's a little thing up there. One of my not my most popular video, but one of the most popular videos I've made on this channel was that Scala that I tested in Croatia. This will, like I am off-road, about as off-road as you get in Ireland, to be honest with you. I've driven off-road in multiple countries, but Ireland is not a bad place for off-roading. Sure, there's nothing coming. So drift on to, oh, tarmac, oh my God. That's not sport mode, that is just normal mode. Now, if I go into actual mode here, and I select sport, it doesn't appear to do anything, apart from make the revs higher. There is a wild turbo whine out of the car. You can hear it whining up, and it's wonderful sound out of it. It really is. I do like that noise, but unfortunately, some of the noise sounds like it's coming from a speaker or a PlayStation rather than a speaker. It's like somebody playing a PlayStation game and listening to a car driving through speakers. That's what it sounds like. So the Skoda Kodiaq is actually a bloody good car. It's a car I've loved for a long time. The Kodiaq is also a really good car. It's like a 5-seat version of a Kodiaq, a bit tighter, a bit smaller, a bit all of that. This is a big car. It is a big unit of a car. But for 7 seats, and as you see, you're not going to get an outlet in that 7th row, it is a lovely thing to behold driving. There is quite a nice grumble away in the distance there somewhere, but you really do have to struggle to find that grumble. And then it goes away when you put it like mode, eco, silence, just 2-litre diesel I am now. The problem is it's about 15 grand more expensive for this one over a fairly bog standard Skoda Kodiaq. Now, if I was buying one, I'd just buy an ordinary one. Please don't buy gold. Everybody bought gold. I'd buy a fairly ordinary one. The distinctive couple of things that make this stand out from an ordinary Kodiaq are these seats, which are supremely comfortable on the road. The colour of the actual car is available only in RS cars, so you'll get it in an Octavia RS or this RS. And that's kind of it. I've seen pretty much everything else in a Skoda of some sort at some point, so the unique features are pretty much that, and the wheels on the outside, which are quite large. I think it's a lovely car, it's a nice car, it's an enthusiast car, but really cornering and things, like it's a fairly lopey affair really in the corner. You throw it in there, the whole car leans over, just like a Kodiaq would. I think Skoda are going a funny direction at the moment. They're chasing sales, they're getting sales, but actually the reason they're getting sales is because years ago they had a fairly unique offering of cars. They had a fairly unique amount of stuff that you could buy from them, some oddball cars that nobody else did. This car isn't really oddball, and it doesn't really do anything that the ordinary Kodiaq doesn't do. Can I recommend you buy it? Not really. Buy a Kodiaq. Unless you really, really want to buy an RS, then buy an Octavia RS, because they're brilliant. But the Skoda Kodiaq should be best left to just being a big family SUV, 2-litre diesel. You can have the bi-turbo if you really want it, but just, it's a lot of money for a slightly bigger engine. No, it's not bigger, it's still 2-litre diesel, but for a slightly more powerful engine, it's a lot of money. I'm delighted, really, that you've watched this far. It's really good. I hope you've subscribed by now, because it's very important to the channel to keep it going, you know, that we get new subscribers, because YouTube hates us generally and doesn't really deliver this kind of content to most people. So thanks very much for watching. You can join me pretty much once or even twice a week sometimes on this channel on a video thing. You can have a look on my Instagram page. You want to see more about my Instagram. I do a lot of Instagram stories from overseas. A lot of cool trips coming up in the near future. A lot of cool trips that have gone by, which you'll find on my IGTV or my highlights moments over on Instagram. Hopefully you've learned all you need to know about the Skoda Kodiaq RS. But until the next time, I will see you on the far side.